What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Combat Kick It with your host, Bando. You already know UFC 283 was this past weekend. Fantastic card. Wonderful card. I really enjoyed it. I don't know how y'all felt, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great card. Every fight that was on the card lived up to the hype. And I just want to talk about my best and favorite moments. We had some great things happen. We finally crowned a light heavyweight champion. We got a new flyweight champion. So let's talk about it. Let's break things down. Let's jump right in. So like I said, UFC 283 is this past weekend, and so many good moments I can't help but talk about, and I want to start off with my KOs of the night. I have two. It's hard to just give it to one. I gotta go with two of them. The first one is Ismail Bonfim versus Terrence McKinney. I think everybody saw that knee. Beautifully timed, beautifully placed, flying knee. Terrence McKinney didn't even see it coming, and Ismail caught the better side of him. Beautiful, perfectly placed, unbelievable, and Terrence fell face first. And if you watched a couple podcasts ago, I talked about Terrence McKinney, and I said he was going to be a problem for the division in the future and stuff like that. Dude's still young, still got time. It happens. He was in enemy territory that night, so it's a tough thing to fight against, but I think he'll come back from this, and hopefully it's a learning experience. I think he needs to switch some things up with his striking. I thought he was going to be a problem, but it all depends on how fast you move up, and maybe this is that thing that, might set him back for a second, but he'll bounce back from it. I think he'll definitely bounce back from it. And the second KO of the night, I got to give it to Bruno Ferreira. How can you not? One of the biggest underdogs on the card, Gregory Rodriguez, one of the biggest favorites. I think he was a minus 450. And we saw Gregory Rodriguez's last few fights. He is a savage, man, an absolute savage. And he's always looking good, looks very powerful, and looks like he could walk through punches. Like, it doesn't seem like he gets bothered. Seems like he has a really good chin and he just walks forward. And, this Bruno Ferreira's got some really good boxing. He was throwing good combinations, and he was landing. He continuously landed on Gregory, and Gregory's chin was open, hands were down. It was a short notice fight for both of them, but Bruno Ferreira showed up on his debut, and he showed out. Unbelievable knockout. Beautiful left hook sent him to the Shadow Realm for sure, and I just had to acknowledge both of those, because how can you not? How can you not? Those were both phenomenal KOs, and shout out to both of them. I know I would at least think and hope that both of them got the 50K bonus. On to my performances of the night. I had a couple performances. I wanted to just, nail it down to one, but it was hard. Everybody showed up on this card. Jessica Andrade was one. She looked phenomenal. She was literally making Lauren Murphy look like Lauren Murphy was levels below her. And a lot of people did believe that. A lot of people said that already. A lot of people had that feeling to begin with. And I kind of did too, but I did not expect the fight to go that way. I bet. So I placed a bet on a plus 400, I think it was. It was a plus 400 for Andrade to win by submission. And I'm like, why would that be such a high, plus 400? That I wouldn't think of that for submission, seeing her jiu-jitsu so damn good, right? So I'm like, fuck it, I'll put a little bit of money down. And in the third round, if you paid attention, it was so close to where I feel like Andrade probably could have submitted her if she wanted to, but she didn't continue going for the submission. She stood the fight up. I think she just wanted to keep on pummeling her. I think that fight could have been stopped at any given moment, and I could have a whole ass episode just about that ref, because that's how people end up. Yeah, they're taking damage, continuing to push forward, but it's too much. It's way too much. And I think a lot of these people, a lot of these refs got to see it. She didn't need to take that much damage. There was no need. She wasn't going to win that fight. There was no route of that she was winning. She was getting pummeled. You could have stopped that at any time going into the third. You probably could have stopped it at the end of the second, to be honest with you. But overall, Jessica Andrade, phenomenal performance. She looked fantastic, and I can't take nothing away from her. Maybe it wasn't Lauren Murphy's night. Maybe Lauren Murphy didn't show up. But I think skill level wise, I think Jessica Andrade is just that good. I just think there's another big gap between her and Valentina. I think she could beat pretty much anybody else in this 125-pound division, but I think she will always struggle when she gets up to Valentina. Another performance of the night, I definitely had to give it to Jamal Hill. How do you not? How do you not give that to Jamal Hill? Jamal Hill was a beast. He was a beast. And Glover was an animal too. Glover is an animal. Glover's a fucking savage. 40 something years old, and that says something too. That man is 40 something years old. Has fought the best in the division. Always shows up when he's asked to fight. He never turns fights down. It's very rare if he does. And honestly, man, I feel like if he would have took the fight in December against either one, Jan or Magomed, I think he would be champion. He'd be champion right now. But Jamal Hill, man, Jamal Hill put the pause to him. He hit him with a lot of significant shots. And a lot of significant shots that any other light heavyweight probably would have fell to. I think Jamal Hill has a lot of power, but Jamal Hill showed that he can stay with the top in the division, and he is the champion now. And I was hoping for it. I was hoping Sweet Dreams got the belt. But man, oh man, did Glover... When I thought Glover had my respect, he gains it even more with a fight like that. Man standing right in the pocket, still trading, hands up, getting pummeled. It's just unbelievable. And like I said, it says so much for that light heavyweight division. Like, what are you guys doing? You had a fight in December that was a huge fight for the belt. Huge opportunity. And not like it was their fault that the fight went to a draw. It was the judge's fault. But, you're leaving the fight to not be one-sided. It was not the best fight, not the craziest fight. It's just tough. You needed to have a for sure champion, and we didn't going into the new year. And Jamal Hill, unbelievable. But what's next for Jamal Hill? That's a whole other episode. We'll be waiting for him and Yuri. I don't know if Yuri's gonna be the next thing. I don't know how long Yuri's recovery is gonna be. Who knows? It could be Magomed, could be Jan Blachowicz. Anthony Smith, I think, deserves a shot simply because he was supposed to fight Jamal Hill. I think if Johnny Walker gets one more good win, first round finish like that, go run that rematch back maybe with Jamal Hill. I think he gets knocked out again, but still, got to just follow the way the division is. Raychick will be back soon, so whole other episode. I'm going to break that down too because I'm excited for Yuri versus Jamal, and I hope that is the next fight, but like I said, you never know with the recovery. And another performance, I really don't want to skip it. I probably could just call it out as finish of the night, but Gilbert Burns, man, Gilbert Burns looked fucking A1, and he said he was going for the finish. And how can you not give him props when he's going for a finish on the most winning welterweight in history? Like, you have to put the pause to him quick. You have to put him in uncomfortable positions. Obviously, they stayed a little stagnant, but that's like that veteran type of stand-up. They knew both men are so dangerous on the feet. Both men are so dangerous in each situation that they were just waiting for their moment, playing it smart. Gilbert found his moment, got a beautiful submission in the first round, and I couldn't predict the first round submission at all. I most definitely would not have predicted that. I thought that fight would have probably been the one fight that was going to go to decision on that card, and it didn't. I'm surprised that any of these fights went to decision. Like I said, Jessica Andrade and Lauren Murphy could have been stopped. Glover and Jamal probably could have been stopped. Glover's just a fucking savage and doesn't stop. I mean, like I said, a lot of light heavyweights need to step up after seeing a man like that perform. You have to. That man's in his mid-40s performing like that. And then there's some light heavyweights that go out there and put on some of the most boring fights we've ever seen. You guys gotta step it up. Just show out, man. Show out. You got nothing to lose. That man had nothing to lose last night. Saturday night. He had nothing to lose Saturday night, man. He went out there and did his thing. He took a lot of damage, but he did his thing. He fought his heart out. Jamal Hill just came with a very good game plan, stayed sharp. He blasted on the cardio side, which I didn't expect. Being on like a short notice fight 1 month and going in against a cardio machine like Glover. And his takedown defense was phenomenal. Phenomenal takedown defense. So I think Jamal is going to be a problem as a champion. We just got to see what the matchups are going to be. And obviously, It wasn't like performance of the night, wasn't KO of the night, but it definitely was a topic of discussion of the night. Brandon Moreno versus Davison Figueiredo, 4 history was made. Brandon Moreno is your new flyweight champion. But obviously, Davison Figueiredo mid-fight, when the punch landed, he felt like he got poked in the eye. Seemed there was controversy there for a second, but look closely, he did not poke him in the eye. When he landed the punch, inside part of the knuckle here landed right in the eye socket. That's 100% legal, and it landed and it did damage, man. I didn't think it swelled up his eye quick. His eye shut, and I had a feeling as soon as they got up from being on the ground and they went back to the corner, I'm like, there's no way. There's no way, because they kept putting the hand over one. I'm like, he can't even open one eye to see anything. There's no way. No way. And, yeah, they stopped the fight because he couldn't see out of eye. And, you know, it sucks for any fight to finish that way. We've seen fights finish that way. We've seen fights finish from cuts, a bunch of different ways, broken legs, ways we don't want to see fights finish. And this was history. We definitely didn't want to see it finish this way. But Brandon was winning that fight. Brandon looked good. Besides a few sloppy shots thrown where I feel like he was just going for the kill with a couple shots. He missed, big haymakers. He looked good. He looked good. He looked better than Davison Figueiredo. He looked like he was overall a better fighter, had better game plan, had better skill set. And, it's tough because he was in the mix of the whole James Krause situation too. Not his name being tied to it or any of the bets, but he was on James Krause's team his last fight. James Krause was the one that gave him the advice to throw the kick to Kai Kara France, and it worked. So it probably a weird adjustment for him to go into this fight, but he did his thing. He looked phenomenal. Davison Figueiredo is a beast, and he says he's going to move up to 135, so that's interesting. I'm interested in that fight. I'm down to see it. I'm down to watch whoever he ends up going up against. So we'll see. We'll see. But Brandon Moreno is the flyweight king right now, and I'm curious to see what's next for him, because I think they're talking about Alexander Pantoja. I think Brandon runs right through him. I think Brandon could be the king of that division for a little while, to be honest with you. I think he could reign over that division for a little while. And guess what? If UFC decided and figured out the contract and the proper payment to hit Demetrius Johnson with whatever they did to get him back, if they could get him back, I would love that fight. Demetrius Johnson versus Brandon Moreno would be very interesting. Very interesting. I'd like that fight. That'd be fun, because like I said, I don't think anybody's taking Brandon Moreno out of the division. I think the only problem that Brandon had in that division, he just took out on Saturday night and finished his whole issue, and it's a wrap now. So we'll see what's next for him in the flyweight division. I don't think he'll ever move up. I don't think Brandon will ever move up. So like I said, he's gonna reign king for a little while. But overall, UFC 283, fantastic card. I really enjoyed it. It's great to have fights back. Like I said in the last podcast, man, I love Saturdays where you just kick back. For me, it's just kicking back, smoking, watching the fights, enjoying, seeing all the different styles of fighters, all the different types of, characters, the type of energy they bring to the octagon and everything. It's so fun following through the fight week, and I just love this shit. I can talk about it for hours, but nobody wants to listen to a dude just ramble. One dude sitting in a room just ramble for an hour, so I hit you on a 15 to a 20-minute level, and I know you guys can handle that. So if you got through this video and you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, hit the bell notification button, and I will hit you on the next episode. Peace.